Hello and welcome to the finals mailbag. I'm your host, Clarky, and joining me as always is the man himself, Damo.
Hi, Clarky. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good. It's been a long week, but hey, footy AFLM is back, AFLW continues to rule, and all of the other fantasy leagues are going. I'm doing a lot of different fantasy leagues.
September's a big month for sport in general, but also for fantasy leagues because obviously the finals kick off this week. AFLW is roaring into its season. You've got the NFL starting on Friday and over the weekend. EPL's around. I think basketball's not too far away, both the NBA and the NBL. So September's a massive month for sport.
Yeah, it's an absolute insanity. I'm doing Supercoach EPL. I have no idea what I'm doing, but shout out to Dano and Deadly, who are keeping me afloat at the moment.
I've probably annoyed Tim Mitchell more than he would like with my EPL team. I still have no idea what I'm doing, and I will wake up and I'll see a player hasn't played, and I'll be informed that he did the calf in the warm up, and I'll be like, oh, that's great. How am I supposed to change that at 2 a.m. in the morning?
Yeah, it's the big factor because apparently as well they don't announce teams until like an hour before the game, which
Excellent.
take AFL fans who are not EPL fans. Fuck, we got it good. we got it good. But, Damo, you mentioned that this week the AFLM Week 1 finals begin with some... I don't think there's really a bad matchup in this game. I think they're all very much 50-50. So, kicking off the Thursday night with Adelaide Collingwood, the Friday with Brisbane and Geelong, then the Saturday elimination finals of the Giants and Hawks, and then your Dockers, Damo, come up against the Gold Coast Suns in what I'm going to affectionately call the Flake Bowl, because both of these teams could equally win it by 100 points or lose it by 100 points.
Based on the season that's just gone, yes.
It must be nerve-wracking. How do you feel about the Dockers going into finals, Damo? Since you're the only one with some skin in this game.
I'm nervous, but I would think that if the Dockers can win this week, I would say that's a pass mark for the season.
Yeah,
and they play the loser of the Geelong Brisbane game, and I don't think you really want to come up against either of those teams in finals. But if I had to choose, I think I would prefer to travel to Melbourne to play Geelong if I was Fremantle than to Brisbane to play Brisbane.
Yeah, I feel like Freo play pretty okay in Melbourne. Like, I don't think you guys travel that poorly here. Although most of the time I've seen Freo play in Melbourne, it's against us, and you've beaten us probably 3 out of the last 4 times.
It's funny you mentioned that. I was looking at Fremantle's interstate record recently, and their record in Melbourne, especially at the MCG, is like really, really good.
See? Yeah? Not all bad. Damo, look, since we're talking finals fixture, who is your pick? Obviously not Fremantle, but who is your pick to win it all? Are we done final predictions?
We haven't done a finals prediction yet.
Let's do a finals prediction. This wasn't planned, but let's do a finals prediction, Damo.
I've just spent time with good friend of the pod, from the Jock Reynolds days, Baron Von Crow, and I would love if his Adelaide Crows could go deep into September and win the grand final, because I thought they were unduly smashed in 2017. But I would like him to see some joy this century, aside from all the off-field stuff and all that's been going on. I think.
No, this isn't about racism. This is about Baron. I want Baron to be happy.
I think Adelaide fans should be super proud of where their team has gone from last year to this year, and if they can finish with the ultimate success, I think that is awesome for them, despite all the news that has come out recently from that club.
Yeah, fair enough. I have 2 favourites. I have like a bottom 4 favourite and a top 4 favourite, because I think statistically the odds are against the bottom 4 finals teams to win it all. But I think my preferred good vibe teams are in the bottom 4. if I had to pick from the top four objectively, I think Geelong are probably the strongest team, or at least they feel like the most. They're so consistent, and I think that's what makes Geelong seem like they're almost a favourite. If they're like they've made the top four, they should be favourites for the flag, but I don't actually know if that's true because they feel like they consistently play a really good brand of football. So I don't see them losing easily, but it'll be interesting to see that Brisbane Geelong game. I'm really looking forward to seeing that one. But of the bottom four, Damo, I've crunched the numbers. Obviously, Freo, I have yourself and my wonderful co-host Cass, who are both Freo supporters, and I want you guys to experience joy. A friend of the show, Tom, from the Footy with Broden, he's a Gold Coast Suns supporter. I would also love for him to feel some success, and just making finals is a really big thing for the Suns, which is great. But I have to say that objectively, I think my pick of the bottom four teams between Giants, Hawthorn, Dockers, and Suns is probably the Giants. I think if everything going right for them, I just feel like they could make the strongest run just stringing together form.
Selfishly, I would hate if an expansion team won a premiership before Freo. So I can't, in good conscience, support either the Giants or Gold Coast.
So your pick of the bottom four that isn't Freo is Hawthorn, is what I'm hearing.
Fuck.
Yeah. Because
no, I've got skin in the game. I can only support one team here. You can support a team.
I can,
but I've got skin. I've got skin in the game here. Fremantle is my team. Very
good. I'm actually prepared. I do have a Giants beanie down here from when I attended one of the finals a year or two ago. Yeah, that's good. I think it'll be. It's kind of nice that we're here now. I think the stale feeling that was in the season was kind of really chugging along for the last maybe 5 or 6 weeks. We've kind of just been going through the motions because, well, there's clearly teams that aren't going to make finals, so it's time for them to head to the trade speculation realm of AFL media. And then you've got the team. Then there was the Fremantle, Gold Coast, Western Bulldogs love triangle of who's going to actually make it to the finals, which has now finally resolved. So we've actually got a really good matchup, and I'm excited to see some AFLM finals football. But before that, we had the week, Damo, where the All-Australian team was announced, as well as the Players Association Awards.
Yep.
Were also announced. And look, it's been quite controversial, as it is always with football, because there's like a couple of hundred footballers, Damo, and
just a few hundred.
There's a couple hundred footballers, and not every one of them can win awards. But we'll go through the Players Association season awards, and I want to get your vibes on them. So we have the MVP for the AFLPA was one Nicholas Dacos, the most of course answer that I could think of.
I think being voted as the best player from your peers should hold more weight than it does. But when it comes to a player that probably hasn't had their best season because for a multitude of reasons, for them to still win, does that make them that good, or has the voting just become lazy?
Who votes on the AFLPA?
All the players. I'm pretty sure it's all the players, but I'm not entirely sure.
Hang on, I'm looking it up live, people. The voting process. Every AFL player is asked to nominate 3 teammates they deem worthy of the Lee Matthews Trophy. In stage 2, the players select the MVP from the list featuring 3 nominees from every club. However, you can't vote for your own teammates. Yeah, okay. It's a little bit involved, but it's okay. The clubs nominate, and then from that nomination, the other clubs pick from your 3 guys. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. But so Nick Dacos, I agree, because as somebody who hates the Brownlow, the Brownlow is the worst. I don't respect it, Damo, as much as I probably should as a football fan, because it feels so generic, like the way, like it's so.
Can can I just say, after what's come out from like umpires and the controversy with umpires and all that, I have found it such a hard award to take seriously because we've seen now 2 umpires be investigated by police for collusion in Brownlow voting. And so it's like those are the only 2 umpires who have been caught. How many other umpires have actually done it? And they're all going to say that they haven't. But
well, I mean, I think that's key one
Yeah,
to getting away with crime, Timo.
but like, I wonder just how rife the umpiring department is of these planned Brownlow winners.
Yeah, I hate it. It feels like they've just given the umpires a job and then somehow that job has become important.
Yeah.
And I kind of appreciate knowing that the players vote on the MVP. I feel like I agree with you. Hold a lot more weight because that's by your peers, like your people who are around it. I go, okay, well, there's not really going to be any favorites there because I'm sure there are players at other clubs who are like, man, fuck Nick Dacos. Sorry, I know we're a safe for school podcast. Frick Nick Dacos. I hate that guy, but he seems like a fun guy. So good for you, Nick. Like he's just having a career 3 years into his career.
But I mean, in saying that, if this is a down year for him, when he's fully fit and back to his best, watch out.
I think the worst part is that we could every year probably look at his year and go, could have been better, and he'll never feel like he'll hit his peak because his peak, like his maximum performance is so much higher. Like we have so much weight into what he can achieve. But I've spent enough time talking about Nick Dacos, so we'll move on. The most courageous award was given to the Invisible Man himself, Josh Dunkley.
I wasn't surprised by this, to be honest. I don't know exactly what goes into the requirements for most courageous, but I wasn't surprised.
So it's just your players nominate one teammate for the most courageous and the best first year player. So you only get one shout from your team. Josh Dunkley was put forward. I don't know what the criteria is. I guess that's up to your team. Yeah, that seems fine to me. It's inoffensive, but also I don't understand the connotation of most courageous, but Josh Dunkley is a really good football player.
Mm-hmm.
Good, great for him. Now, best captain. I didn't particularly care for this one, but only because of my inability to get rid of my bias. But the best captain voted by the AFLPA was Jordan Dawson. I'm assuming this doesn't take into account recent events, but I do really I think Jordan Dawson is a great player, and he does feel like he is an on-field presence, which is something that is so important for a captain, because my choice, Damo, is always going to be Max Gawn, the best captain of the football, and there's absolutely no bias in that. But yeah, I think he's really sort of he puts it on the back of himself to raise his team at times, and that's something that you don't always see from every captain. I know there's some that have had a lesser year this year, but a very deserving winner nonetheless.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Max. So if I was going to pick one myself, I think Noah Anderson probably would have been my pick.
Okay.
It's in his first season in charge as captain of the Gold Coast Suns. He has led this team to the finals for the first time. And captains have a big role on game day to play alongside the leadership group. And I just think if I was going to put a vote towards this best captain award, I think Noah Anderson would have had my vote.
That's not a bad choice. There's a lot of really good captains in the AFL, but Damo, we'll talk about an award that I think you're going to love this recipient. The best first year player was given to one Murphington Reed.
Excellent. No notes. Keep.
Yeah, he's had a really good year. I much of the year probably would have focused on Levi Ashcroft, I think, who had a pretty consistent year, but I like Murphy Reed better. I'll say it.
This draft is going to go down as a super draft, though. Like, I don't think there's been a bad miss yet out of the draft yet.
Yeah, and there's players that we haven't even seen in Jagger Smith and
Josh Smiley. Yeah.
Like, let alone those two. But it's definitely a year of like Harvey Langford, I think, is really fantastic. As we know.
And we only really saw a small snippet of guys like Taj Houghton and Jasper Alger and all that who got picked up by Richmond. So there's still a lot of that draft class that we still need to see, but we were seeing hits all through to pick 60s and 70s in with the likes of Zach Johnson that debuted at Essendon, who looked really comfortable.
Archie Roberts is a first-year player, isn't he?
Nope, he's been in the competition for 2 years, Clarkey.
Okay, so he's just not. This is the first year that he's gotten a consistent run, right? Because he's got he's got a rising star, and you need to meet a threshold to
yes, correct.
That's what confused me. I think there's also just players who, if they played for a better team, probably wouldn't have been overlooked. So I think Murphy Reed is kind of like right in the middle of that as well, where like Freo can, as I've said, they can kind of be a little bit flaky. A dockery, I think, is the term you guys prefer. But he's been consistently excellent, which has been nice to see. We've got the AFL Coaches Awards as well, Damo, which I'm sure that you'll love to hear. The Coaches Player of the Year was a tie between Noah Anderson and Bailey Smith.
Love it.
And did you see Bailey Smith's like pretty candid talk recently about his mental health struggles? It's really nice to have such a high profile player come out and talk about things like that. I think players being more candid and able to be vulnerable is so good in a lot of forms that this takes. So Bailey Smith, good on you for that, but very deserving, I think, from both of these players. Noah Anderson, as you said, Damon, essentially just drags his team to the finals because he is the guy. Like he's the one that they all look to and he's leading by example. Bailey Smith, I think it's really easy to write him off a little bit as well because Geelong is such a good team and they're like, okay, yeah, good player goes to good team and they continue winning. And, all Bailey Smith does is rack up 30 possessions every week. But it's actually so much more than that, like that stability that he is kind of bringing to a squad that is relatively like younger. Like they're missing a lot of their key leaders, and I think he's been really good in just bringing that intensity. The kind of like in the same way like Noah Anderson and Matt Rowell, I feel the same way with like Max Holmes and Bailey Smith, where there's like Bailey Smith kind of has the intensity, but I feel like Max Holmes would be the guy who's a little bit more like level-headed, a bit more methodical about the way he goes.
They complement each other well in Noah Anderson and Matt Rowell, and then Bailey Smith and Max Holmes. They both complement each other really, really well with their different skill sets, and it just shows that once you get two guys that can mesh together like those two guys or four guys do in their separate teams, it just shows how beneficial it can be to one or the other.
Yeah, absolutely.
And just on Bailey Smith, I just think him coming out I don't think he planned to really talk about the mental health struggles he had while recovering from his ACL, but there would be a lot of blokes out there who and girls as well, I guess, but more blokes with this with the stigma of it. Just him coming out and being the guy that he is, it just shows that it's okay to get help if you need it, and yeah, there's always going to be light at the end of the tunnel. You just got to go and find it.
Yeah, absolutely. It applies to all people at all levels of the competition. So it's, definitely, it's something that's very common and very difficult to approach. But well said. The best young player was, sorry, I laugh every time I look at this. Sean Manor is the best young player. And
28 years old with a wife and child, Sean Manor, best young player.
So we talked about this on the Falcon.
I have thoughts on this, but I think we need to go through I think we need to talk about the All-Australian team first.
Sure, we could do that. I don't know why, but yeah, sure, we can do that. We'll come back to you, Sean Manor. Put a pin in Sean Manor, listeners. Prime Tim, if you're listening, can you just pop a pin in that for me? Let's run through the All-Australian team quickly. So we'll start with the defense. It's Josh Battle, Sam Taylor, Jordan Clark, Bailey Dale, Harris Andrews, and Nasiah Wanganeen-Malera.
Super happy with Jordan Clark. Not a lot of people are happy with Josh Battle, but I think you just got to celebrate the team and who is selected where. I saw a lot of people. Honestly, that entire night, I saw the All-Australian team getting picked apart by people and people responding to happy fans seeing their own players get selected, almost criticising that fan for selecting that player in the All-Australian team. They didn't select the player. They're just celebrating that their player's in it.
The All-Australian team is...
it's been the selection has been flawed for a long time.
It's made up, guys.
It's gotten to the point where you just have to celebrate who is selected and forget about the fact that it has to be a functioning team, because these guys don't actually play a game together in this formation.
Yeah, it's very funny. I think the clear one that you're referencing, particularly the defense, is Josh Battle for Cam Wilkie, who Wilkie's great.
Or Josh Worrell. There was a lot of calls for Josh Worrell. Like, Adelaide had a top 3 defense all season, and they have no defenders in this All-Australian team.
Well, it sounds like they should have defended better. Maybe they were focusing their defense on the wrong types of battles.
Keep moving, Clarky.
Got him. Damo gave me the look, listeners, that I'm not to go any further. Yeah, I think don't take it too seriously. And hey, if you're criticising someone else because they're happy that, if a Hawthorn fan is happy that Josh Battle got in, and honestly, frick you, like Josh Battle getting his first All-Australian, he might never make it again. He might not get selected next year. Let him have it. It's fake. It's made up. We don't respect it. But it's a good backline. Nasai Wanganeen-Malira, I think, is just had an absolutely stellar year. So that was one of the shoo-ins. Jordan Clark as well. I would say Sam Taylor is one who probably 50-50 for me. I think he's very good. I love Sam Taylor. I thought Lockie Ash had a better year.
So I remember years ago, maybe it was a couple of years ago, it seems fairly, at one point that there was a games threshold for you to be able to be selected in the All-Australian team. And Sam Taylor only played 20 games this season. And I thought you could only miss a certain number of games. But it's still a month of footy.
Damo hates Sam Taylor, confirmed.
I actually like Sam Taylor. Sam Taylor, come to the Dockers.
It's hard to say who does and doesn't deserve. I think he had a great year. I prefer Lockie Ash, but you know what? Doesn't matter. Bailey Dale, Harris Andrews, I think are 2 players who just quietly got it done all year, and there for consistency. We'll head into the midfield and followers, Damo, where we've got Bailey Smith, Jordan Dawson, Hugh McCluggage, with Max Gawn as the ruckman, cha-ching, Noah Anderson, and Ed Richards. Some really good names in here. I love Ed Richards. I love that for Ed Richards.
This might be the closest the All-Australian team is ever going to get to picking actual wingers on the wing.
And McCluggage and Bailey Smith.
But the thing is, Hugh McCluggage didn't play on the wing this season. He played on the wing last season and the season before that when he probably should have been selected. But this is probably the closest the team is going to get to having actual wingers in the All-Australian team named on the wing.
Yeah. Which is nice to see. Jordan Dawson also was made the vice captain of the All-Australian squad. And Max Gawn equals the all-time All-Australian
8 times.
Yeah, he equals the number for the most All-Australian selections. And I don't care if you thought Tristan Sherry was better. He's in the squad. It's made up. I'm happy. Let me have it. Moving into the forward line, we've got Isaac Heaney, Jeremy Cameron, Zach Bailey, Jack Gunston, which, Jesus, good on you, Jack. Riley Thilthorpe and Cozzy Pickett. I don't hate this forward line. Isaac Heaney, I thought this forward really good year.
Isaac Heaney, I thought he would be touch and go to get in, to be honest, the way that Sydney's season went, but I'm glad that he made it. Zach Bailey makes a lot of sense. He doesn't get the plaudits he should for the role he plays, and he's very good at the role that he plays, and there is a reason why Essendon are going to offer him 1.3 mil over 6 years or something. So yeah, he is awesome. And then Cozzy Pickett, he averaged 20 and 2 across the year, which is like elite numbers for a small forward / midfielder. So yeah, I just think the forward line's great.
Now, the two things for me are, one, Jack Gunston, very funny that he would make it because it absolutely silences a lot of people who thought that his career was sunsetting, because he's had an absolutely phenomenal year, and good on him.
7 years between jackets for him. So his first All-Australian was in 2018, and then this is his second All-Australian selection.
I feel so old. That's a long time. But probably most controversially, Jeremy Cameron was named as the All-Australian captain, and then was quoted as saying, "I've never been the captain of anything."
We're surprised about Jeremy Cameron being captain on the same night that a 28-year-old won Best Young Player.
It's very good. Well, Jeremy Cameron was the runner-up for Best Young Player at the record age of 42. Look, whatever. It's very funny. I don't think it should have been him, but it's also very funny, and I'm here for it because at his captain's meeting, I imagine him doing that goal celebration he did when he cracked the beer, and yeah, that's how he's going to rev up the team every week. And rounding out this All-Australian team, we've got on the interchange Nick Dacos, Marcus Bontempelli, Caleb Sarong, and Matt Rao. And look, the All-Australian selectors had the semblance of decency to at least put all of the extra midfielders that they would have squeezed into the forward line and defence line onto the bench.
Everyone's saying that Caleb Sarong shouldn't have made it, and I said on the podcast last week before the team was selected that not a lot of people will accept that he gets selected should he get selected. But I even said I don't think people realise the impact he has in the Fremantle side, even when he's not racking up the pill. I think his selection is warranted, but based on who missed out, maybe he could have been the 23rd or 24th player unlucky to not get in, but I think his selection makes sense to me.
I'm not going to argue with you. Hey, Damo, a lot of people mad about some omissions, and there's one in particular that I want to get your opinion on, because a lot of people saying that Tristan Sherry probably should have made the team over Max.
Well, he didn't even make the nominations list.
Exactly.
So how is he supposed to get into the All-Australian team if he doesn't even get a nomination? We mentioned this last week. No North Melbourne players got a nomination. Not Harry Sheasel, not Paul Curtis, not Tristan Sherry, none of those guys. So yes, maybe Tristan Sherry had a great year, but you got to be nominated to be a chance, and he didn't get nominated. So for whatever reason, he didn't make the team and didn't even have a shot at making the team. So try again next year.
I love that. People are so mad about this, and not to take the fun away from it, but it's just like, it's a weird thing to be so mad about because it doesn't make Tristan Sherry less good. Like, not making the All-Australian doesn't mean that he didn't have hasn't had one of the most prolific rises of a young ruckman for years.
I have loved the talk of, if there's going to be 5 on the bench next season, they should put 5 on the bench in the All-Australian team. And if there's a substitute, they should name a substitute and all that sort of stuff. And it's like, I guess so, but also no.
I mean, if they do 5 on the bench, then yeah, there'll be 5 bench spots. What?
Yeah.
What are you saying? I did also love the meme that was going around. It was like, was so-and-so a bricklayer? It's just, there's lots of really good memes going around about that. But that was the All-Australian team. Hey, Prime Tim, can you just grab that pin for me on Sean Manor? I just want to say that a 28-year-old being named Best Young Player gives me hope that as a 33-year-old, I might have a chance at a football career. Still.
I mean, 33, fuck. Geelong might come to your door tomorrow.
Pendles it's good enough for Pendles, it's good enough for me. Oh, hey Damo. We should probably talk about Supercoach. That's what this podcast is about. And Finals Mailbag is now no longer a Supercoach podcast because the Supercoach season is done. But the Supercoach Finals season has begun. So we are now the Supercoach Finals podcast. I haven't made my team yet. Full disclosure, I'm kind of doing it while we're recording. But for those of you who missed it, Supercoach Finals is a game that is starting this week where you select a squad of players. Every week you select a fresh squad from the remaining players in that round of finals. So this week you will only be able to pick players from the 8 teams that are in the finals matches this week. Now the caveat on all these things, of your 9 players that you get to pick, you can only pick 2 players from each team, giving you that little bit of edge and a little bit of decency. So you have 2 defender spots, 3 midfielder spots, 1 ruck, 2 forwards, and a flex spot. Damo.
And there's a massive twist to the finals compared to the regular season.
If this is about the captains, I'm getting there. Is it about the captains? Damo.
It's about the captains. It's about the captains.
You know what? You take it. You've taken the watermelon from my hands. You cut it up, please.
Your captain earns triple points and your vice captain earns double points.
That's right, baby. So, all things to consider when selecting your squad. Damo, I thought it could be fun for us to just run through. You've got a draft of your finals team at the moment?
I do.
I also am working on and have mostly finished a draft of mine. I thought it'd be fun if we could just run through and talk through some of our preferred selections, because there is no salary cap on this, which means it's primo all the way, baby.
Before we get into talking about our own teams, one thing that people have noticed is positions. And people have been wondering if it's a window into what positions these players will be in 2026. Some interesting ones. Luke Jackson is ruck only. Bailey Smith has lost forward status, which I think is no surprise. But yeah, just interesting thing to monitor, just in case it is a window into the 2026 positions.
I feel like this is the kind of information that all of the unofficial team selectors that come out before the Supercoach launches will be based on these positions. So it's good to give us an idea of who to think of. The only trouble being no salary cap. So hard to decide, I think, on some of those players who are going to be value, but good to know for those primos that we select next week. Damo, let's start with the defenders, as we always do, because it's at the top of the page. Who have you got in your defenders?
I have gone for Sir Thomas Stewart and Knight Lachlan Whitfield. No, I don't know. Tom Stewart and Lockie Whitfield. Knight. I don't know. I was trying to be regal. Yeah.
Hey, look. You just call him Sir. You went Sir Tom Stewart, and then you went Knight Whitfield. But aren't Knights also called Sirs, like Sir Lancelot?
Don't question me.
I'm not. I'm just correcting you, which is the best thing a friend could do to another friend. I like both of those picks. The Tom Stewart one, though, kind of does surprise me given the names that are available. So talk me through Tom Stewart.
Just proven finals performer, really.
Okay.
If I go through his finals performances in years gone by, he has been the top Supercoach scorer, despite obviously Supercoach finals not being around. You can still track their champion data ranking points, and he just proves finals after finals that he performs. And if I bring up some numbers and riff while I do that,
that's good. You're doing well. Keep riffing, baby.
It's just, yeah, like I've gone off previous years, and if I look at 2024, he scored
points. Keep
going, Clark, quick.
While Damo brings up the stats, I have agreed with him on Lachlan Whitfield. So Sir Whitfield has been a stalwart knight of the Giants' defensive selections this year, and I think he's also going to be a bit of a barometer for just how well the Giants do. You kind of notice he's one of those players that the Giants, when they're not doing well, you notice that Whitfield is usually impacted in some capacity. So I think he'll be a really key cog for them to actually get over a really talented Hawthorn side. I wouldn't be surprised to see him go 100 and plus 110 average on the year. Just seems like a relatively safe selection to me.
So last year in the only final that he played, because he missed the qualifying final, but in the prelim final against Brisbane, he scored 113. In the grand final against the Swans, because they missed the finals in 2023, but in 2022, he managed... I need to riff again. Where is his name?
So looking at my other selections for the squad while I riff while Damo brings up more stats, I've actually gone with Sir Clark, Jordan Clark for me. I think a game where Jordan Clark is going to need to be on 105 average for the year and one of the top overall scoring players. I think he is somebody who's going to need to be on during this final series if Freo want to progress. It's make or break for these teams. I kind of have gone for players who tend to like they've got that real edge of like, oh well, I have to be on. There's no, if I'm not on, we're not coming back next week. And I think that's really important to focus on for teams that I have selected players from.
So in 2023, across the final series, Tom Stewart scored 102, 89, and then didn't have a great grand final, but was still fairly solid in his stats. So
you found stats that didn't necessarily support what you wanted, but I agree with you that he is a known finals performer. There's absolutely no way that he is not a known finals performer. Should we just run through, have you got any other major selections that you would have put your money on?
Well, Tom Stewart, I spent a lot of time on Tom Stewart, but he's actually not locked into my side. Lockie Whitfield is. Who goes with him? I have flipped several times. It was Luke Ryan for a time. It was Jordan Clark for a time. Dane Zorko, boo. I also had Rory Laird at one point. I keep on changing it. At the moment, it is Tom Stewart because of his finals experience, but I wouldn't be surprised if I go in with someone else.
Someone that I'd like to highlight that has major upside, but probably not an average that supports it. My guy, Carleman. Carleman has had a pretty good year at Hawthorn. He's been a pretty set piece of their exiting strategy from defense. They're playing GWS, who I think are going to be quite aggressive, where if they're not kicking straight, Carleman's probably going to be seeing a lot of, or they're going to be looking for him quite a lot to get that ball from defense to offense. I wouldn't be surprised to see him go 100 plus, but just a little spicy one from me.
I like it.
I don't hate it either. We'll move on to the midfielders. Now, this one is like kid in a candy shop, isn't it, Damo?
Oh, yeah.
My current midfielders, Nick Dacos, Jordan Dawson, and Hugh McCluggage. I don't think there's really any need to explain why I've chosen these three guys, but the one that I'm not married to is McCluggage.
Okay.
Ironically, out of all of them. I've been eyeing off Noah Anderson once again because I was talking about that desperation factor. Noah Anderson is somebody who I think, impact-wise, it benefits him the most to be in finals football Supercoach scoring.
Okay.
So he is somebody who, if things are not going well, Noah Anderson will be the guy. He's either going to score 50 or he's going to score 150.
Can we mention our flex position here?
Sure, I'll let you. I won't stop you.
So I agree with you on two of your three midfielders.
Is it Dacos and Dawson?
I don't have Dacos in my team.
Very good. Okay.
So my midfield is Dawson, Rowell, and Bailey Smith.
Okay.
And my flex is Hugh McCluggage.
Okay, I can see that. Would you care to elaborate?
Elaborate on what? Exactly.
Any of that, Damo. Take a pick. Talk about the rationale.
I think Bailey Smith is going to light it up. I think this is exactly what they brought him in for, a bit of flair on the big stage, and we're going to see exactly what Bailey Smith can do in high pressure, high stakes situation, and I just think he's going to really light it up, and he's actually my vice captain to get double the points.
Vice captain on Bailey Smith. I love that. Here's the thing, right? I think it depends on how close that game is, because Bailey Smith will accumulate, but I don't know if Geelong take a really early lead or they're too far behind, it's not really going to have the same impact. I think we found it quite a lot with his scoring during the year, where he kind of drags himself to those low tons just through sheer volume of pill touching, which is why I did have Bailey Smith at one point, but I kind of diverted to Nick Dacos, who is a known factor, and teams will now factor in stopping Nick Dacos, which means that he has to get a little bit more creative. So thinking once again of impact players to maximize, I think I'm kind of going glass cannon, which is the term that I'll use to describe it. So for people who don't know, the term glass cannon is essentially a team that could either score people who could score absolutely insanely, or they're going to score absolutely terribly. So this could shatter entirely in my hands, but I don't hate the Bailey Smith pick at all. Jordan Dawson, it's nice that we agree on. He's just He's just been so solid all year, Damo. And Noah Anderson for Matt Rao. Take your pick, 50-50. They're both great players.
I think the Dockers are going to find it easier to shut down or nullify a Noah Anderson type than a Matt Rao type who does most of his work in the trenches.
Guess we'll find out.
Now,
this one is a difficult position. It is the ruck position, and we don't have any of the best ruckmen.
No Gawn,
Gorn,
no Grundy,
no Cherry.
No Marshall, no Cherry, no... I mean, we've got Jared Witts, but I've gone for Darcy Cameron.
Yeah, it makes sense. He is the highest averaging ruck of this selections. He's had a very, very good year, objectively. I have no doubts against that. Is that where your mind went for the ruck position? Just go with the guy who has the proven season ability?
Well, he's done the most points. He doesn't have the highest average. Luke Jackson has the highest average.
I think that's inflated, though, isn't it? Quite significantly by some of those really big spike scores.
Yeah, Luke, Darcy Cameron had the best standard deviation. I'll use a maths term there. He had the best. He had the best standard deviation of most of the ruckmen. So I like Darcy Cameron as a pick who's probably going to get me at least 90.
Well, I've deviated a little bit from the pack entirely, Damo. I've got Lloyd Meek.
I like it.
Against Kieran Briggs, who Kieran Briggs has not had a good year as a ruckman, who he has the ability, but he's not had a good year against other ruckmen.
And Lloyd Meek's last month has been mammoth.
Yeah. I think this is the play. I think this is the way. Just go for it. Full send. No regrets.
I'm interested in the forward line. If we move quickly from the ruck line, I'm interested in the forward line because it feels like a lot of the players that we would have liked to pick have been taken away from us through one way or another. So I'm really interested to see where your brain goes with the forward line. And I've gone a little bit left of centre, I feel, with my picks.
Okay. I went one safe one and one absolutely insane one.
So my forward picks is Riley Thilthorpe and Dylan Moore.
Okay, we've been thinking pretty similarly then. Do you think Thilthorpe goes big against Collingwood?
One of the Adelaide forwards does. It's just about picking the right one. I have also played around with the likes of having a Ben Keys there or a Darcy Fogarty there at one point as well went across my mind. I just think one of the Adelaide forwards, big or small, will just completely go off the chain.
Okay, yep, that's fair enough. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. You and I have actually only agreed on the player that I didn't think that we would agree on. My forward line is Jeremy Cameron and Dylan Moore. Because it just makes the most sense to me. Dylan Moore, I think, is, like I said, I've been using the word impact guy quite a lot, and his spike scores come from when they need him the most. And also, it was kind of him or who's the next best guy? Thilthorpe is the next best guy. I've got to be honest, the forward line's not super encouraging, is it?
Do you want to know who crossed my mind as a guy who could completely go bang out of nowhere? Shea Bolton. The Dockers have brought him in. He's got finals experience. He knows what it takes to win games that matter. And I just think there is a chance that he goes bang out of nowhere.
Okay.
Or bang into nowhere and we don't see him at all throughout the game. I also like Cam Rayner as well.
I unmuted myself instead of muting myself to cough. That's great.
I'm leaving that in the edit.
Good content. Sorry, listeners. I don't know if I can support the Shai Bolton pick. I just don't see it, Damo. I'm sorry. I don't.
Blind faith. Call it blind faith. Call it whatever you want. I just think finals guy Shea Bolton is a solid pick.
Who have you got in your flex? You said
I said Hugh McCluggage. Before we move away from the forward line, though, I am really tempted by Toby Green.
Okay, yeah, that's certainly a selection. Why?
Toby Green on the big stage. Finals brings out certain qualities in players that you sometimes don't see during the season, and I feel like Toby Green is the kind of guy who can turn it on for a final.
Yeah, okay. I can understand that. We'll do my flex before we wrap up for the day. Hey, my flex is Max Holmes. That's
Love it.
boring. Yeah, that's
Excellent.
boring. I like Max Holmes. I've been on him, pretty hot on him all year. No reason not to pick him now, and that's our squads, listeners. Hey, if you want to write in and tell us what your squads are, we'll listen. We'd love to see that because hey, we don't have any questions this week, as you might have noticed. But we didn't end the show, which doesn't make it an empty threat. It's only because I added a new platform. So
I'll give our listeners a bit of a mulligan here, because obviously Supercoach Finals, there's not a lot of, you can pick whatever team you like. So they probably want to see what we have to say so that they can have a think about their own team. But yeah, I mean, we might not get a lot of questions in finals mailbag, and that's fine. It can just be finals bag.
Okay.
Don't think about it too much, Clarky.
I'm trying not to. VCNC, who is your VCNC from your team? Sorry, before I wrap up this train wreck.
Well, you can't loophole, so I'm not. So I have not done VCNC in order of playing. I have purely done it to maximize the points. Jordan Dawson gets my C. Bailey Smith gets my VC.
Very good. For my money, I've got Dawson got my C and Dawson got my VC and Anderson got my C. But I'm thinking about putting the VC on Lloyd Meek, to be quite honest. I think that might be fun.
Love it.
I think don't get too bogged down in this, listeners, would be my advice from putting together my team. It's one of those ones where it's a bit reminiscent of, was it Final 9? What was it called? Best 9 or...
Yeah, it's something like that.
Format. So this is all about just picking who you think is going to be the best and remind yourselves that you can't predict it. So have a bit of fun with it. Mess around with your team, but don't stress yourself out over this one. This one's just for fun. This is like you get a free hit every week. Pick your favorites. Pick your gut picks. Go and have fun with it. Tell us who you got. Tell us who you got. And that's it. We're done. This branch is very efficient today, as we spent most of it talking about finals football. But
did you just clap?
I did the dust and the hands off. I don't know if that comes across. It's a very specific sound.
It sounded like you clapped for the end of the episode.
Most people do cheer for the end of episodes, Damo, but what they should be doing instead is heading over to their listening platform of choice and giving us a rating or review. 5 stars is preferred because we do a great job, and by God, if you don't support us saying that we did, we'll cry. You can also head over to thefootymailbag.net to find all of our social media links. You can find Damo over at DamoSC on Twitter and an underscore to that for Instagram. Damo, have you posted on Instagram yet?
Not yet. And NFL starts on Friday, so I'll be posting NFL content on Moving the Chains on YouTube at MTC Supercoach if you're looking for the specific link. It is also on my Twitter profile as well if you want to go and find all NFL Supercoach content that I produce.
Yeah, and we'll share that on the mailbag account as well, which I hope that you're also doing, Damo. You can find me over at QuantumJC on Twitter, but you can also check out my other podcast, The Falcon, a footy podcast, which is at Falcon Footy Pod. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time. Love you.
And if your team is in the finals, good luck to your team, unless it's the Suns.